So
but then now think about it. There's not many rappers I want to listen to when I'm on the desert, though, innit?
True.
Give me Stevie Wonder.
On a desert.
If I'm like stuck on the desert and I don't know when I'm getting rescued, I'll take Stevie's whole catalogue and be cool.
On the desert?
At least for a few days, yeah.
I mean, I respect it.
I mean, what else am I going to do?
I mean, I'm not taking Stevie.
Let me not say desert. Let's say like stranded, like island. Like some Lost type shit. The program.
By yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to get rescued at some point. I just don't know when.
Just for, say, 2 days
And you
straight.
have to...
Say 2 days straight, you've got to listen to one person.
Exactly. That's it.
You're
Rapper or
pick
other
Steve
genre?
Anyone.
I'm taking D'Angelo shit.
And then the whole discography comes with it.
That's just one musician.
One musician. All their features, everything comes with it.
Steveland.
I'm probably taking Marvin Gaye, D'Angelo, or Stevie Wonder.
You hear me?
Maybe Fella.
Fella's a good one. Fella's up there for me.
But Fella's gonna make me want to like dance too much, innit? Do you know what I mean? And just like
Exert energy.
yeah. And when I'm like
You ain't doing
stranded,
shit. You ain't do it for cool.
I'll be stranded. May not even have food or drink.
Just gonna be
Don't
hot.
know when we're getting rescued.
It's gonna be hot.
Whereas with Marvin, I feel like I get a bit more. With D'Angelo, I feel like I might get. No, I'm not getting a bit more D'Angelo. Let me not even lie. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm taking Hove.
You taking Hove?
Give me all of it.
Yeah, not mad at that.
Can you imagine me in a desert just listen to Freeway?
What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 46 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast with your boys Peter,
Yo,
Mohammed,
Yo.
and myself, Yemi. It is a cold February evening, the day before Valentine's Day. Guys, how we doing?
very well, man. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Freezing my nuts off, but we move. We're
move.
here. We're here. Just another day. Another day in lockdown. Getting very, very bored.
Oh,
Trust
fuck
me,
this
man.
shit, man.
What'd you say?
Fuck this shit, man.
Fuck this shit.
I'm done with all of this, man. I'm tired.
Yeah, pretty much. And it doesn't help that it's cold as well. You can't even
Do
go
you
out
know what
like
I
that.
mean, bro? My feet are cold right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Your feet are cold.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it is what it is. You tough.
Hey, man.
Are those J's even like warm in cold weather?
Nah, I thought they were.
Yeah, because they don't even look the warmest.
Nah,
Generally.
I thought they were, but then I come out and I realized, yeah, these were the wrong ones.
Hey, man, it is what it is. Are your toes cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst.
No, I'm saying,
I mean, you don't even have a jacket
hey, man, I said my toes. What do my toes have to do with
because
my
we
jacket?
lecture you every week about
Hey, man,
just
when,
purchasing a jacket.
hey, man, when you're 6'3", you can get away with it.
That's got nothing to do with anything.
That's got
you
yeah.
can still
just
catch
said,
pneumonia.
you just said that for no reason.
6'3",
If
man,
anything,
catch
that will
them.
knock you down even more.
Maybe 5'9".
Fam,
Listen,
fam,
yes, the
for
one you
real.
kick your ass.
Hey, man. I've
Fam,
invested in one in it, so
Fam,
this way.
that flipping pneumonia and COVID will have you feeling 5'7", cuz. You stay there, man.
Hey, man.
Isn't that certain man's height in this room?
Relax.
What,
I'm
5'7"?
asking.
I don't know who that is, but relax.
5'7"?
Are you 5'7", sir?
Nah, of course not, man.
Are we? What are you?
I'm 5'9", man.
Okay, cool. It was a genuine question.
Oh,
No,
5'7"
wait, you were
is
sending for me.
I wasn't sending for you
No,
He
that's
was
because
definitely
I
sending
seem to
for me.
remember that number. I mean, I was close, but
No, you weren't.
was I not?
No, I'm 5'9".
Listen, man, I don't have that problem. Sorry.
Oh, 5'7" and 5'9" is basically,
It's not the same.
You know what I mean? That's
Do
what
you
I
know
said.
what? Actually, no, to be fair, man, it's similar to like having a patchy beard and having a full beard, isn't it? There's a clear difference.
It's not the same though, is it?
I mean, I've got a full beard. I don't know where you're coming.
It's patchy as shit.
You're
man.
mad. My thing has come out.
No,
And
I mean, not when you're
we
like...
praise
well,
God.
not when
God
you're
is good
amongst
all the
elites.
time, fam.
Not when you're amongst the elites.
Is that what we did?
Yeah, man.
All right, fam.
I
I
rather
mean,
have a
when I talk to my other like members of the congregational beard gang, they're not accepting that.
My application got denied. My application
For real,
got denied.
man.
That's fine.
Would you rather have a bold face in your height or shorter with a beard?
I'd rather be 6'3" all day long, man. This guy can't. There's certain rights he can't go on a roller coaster. It's just wrong, man. Do you know what it is to be 5'6"? Do you know?
Bruv. I can't relate, sir.
Who's 5'6" though?
I don't know.
Not since I was like 13 or some
What?
shit.
If I
bro.
was 5'6", I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what can you do?
Not leave the house.
Yeah, man. Your feet just swing when you sit on chairs.
I still think I'd rack up though, man.
Rack up.
Yeah, man.
Feel you.
Is that what you want to call it?
put numbers on the board.
Hey, man. So, Peter, what have you been listening to this week?
No, not at all. No, I was just gonna say, ladies, if you like that sort of shit, then boy, again,
Hey,
hit
I
Peter
might
up,
put
innit?
some numbers on the board.
What you say if I still average 27, 7 and 7?
You feel me?
Shout out to LeBron.
For real, man.
Hey, man.
My goodness. Well, anyway, guys, shout out to our Spotify listenership. Shout out to our SoundCloud listenership. Shout out to our Apple Music listenership. And shout out to everybody who's listening on whatever platform you're listening on.
Big up.
Really appreciate you.
Salute to
Always and
everyone.
forever. And yeah, boys, what we listening to this week?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, knock yourself out, sir.
What have I been listening
You've
to?
been racking up numbers on the board, innit, fam? You gotta go first.
I checked out Jasmine Sullivan's Hotels EP.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. It was a bit mid for me, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen like a lot of good reviews in that. But for me, it was just okay.
Bro, the timeline was going mad on that one.
Yeah. I think that's just because they love Jasmine, innit? But yeah, it was all right. I checked out Conway and Big Ghost's new album called If It Bleeds, It Can Be Killed, which is like gruesome as fuck, but I'm here for it.
Okay.
Also, Tony Allen, who's a drummer. We're listening to a bit of his stuff, particularly an album called Jealousy, which was produced by a fella, and that's like really good too. And that's it. It's been like a real slow week musically for me, man. I'm listening to like quite a few interviews and podcasts more than anything, so I haven't been taking in too much music. But yeah, that's it for me.
Feel you. Mohammed?
I feel like I've been listening to. I think Yemi might be a bit similar. Got into a bit of Fredo's album.
Who?
Fredo's.
Okay.
Haven't really gone into it too much. For what it is so far, it sounds good. I feel like Dave's done an incredible job. So salute to him. Fredo done alright as well.
You just felt obliged to compliment him, didn't you?
What'd you say?
You just felt obliged to compliment him, didn't you? You didn't actually want to.
man. Because to me, it's not even fair.
Nah, come on, man. He's doing better lyrics.
No, 100%. But who do you attribute it to, Dave or him? I feel like the production.
Both.
I feel like the production really helped this album.
Yes, it did. But let's not act like he didn't come to play.
He stepped up in class as well.
I'm just saying, man.
No,
Give him
salute
some
to
respect,
Fredo.
innit? That's
No,
all.
salute to Fredo. Like, yo,
I don't like the way you're saying that.
I've enjoyed it so far. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I've been really getting into Little Durk. So
Yeah,
I've listened to Little Durk. I was listening to Little Durk's album this week. I think he dropped the deluxe version, if I'm not wrong. So I've been listening to it. It's not sounding too bad so far. And also got into the new. What's it called? Something in the Messiah. I forgot what it was called.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah. I was getting to that a bit yesterday as well.
The soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack of that. I heard the film's amazing, by the way. I heard the film's 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard the film's really good. But I heard it from the people that were interviewing them, so then we might have to say it. So salute to all of them in the film as well. But I heard it's really good. So it's been a slow week. I haven't been listening to too much music. We just live in a world where there's a new album, new song every day in it. So you do your best to catch up.
You never can.
You never can, bro. Peter just mentioned 3-4 albums that dropped this week.
No,
or recently.
Big Ghost one was recent. Jasmine Sullivan was recent. Tony Allen was 1975.
Only Tony Allen don't know used to play for Memphis Grizzlies, bro.
Who?
Only Tony Allen used
Don't
to
do that.
He used to play for the Memphis Grizzlies.
This Tony Allen's more.
That's such a neaky
he's not
basketball
more-
reference.
He used to play for the Memphis. Salute to Tony Allen.
Okay.
First team, all defense.
Salute that man.
But yeah, so yeah, they're date wise, they're all over the place.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been listening to anyway. Yemi, what about you?
Man, I've had a varied week listening wise. I've basically been doing this daily challenge called the Music Writer Exercise. It's basically started by this guy who runs a platform called Cabbage's Hip Hop. And he basically challenged music writers and just general everybody to listen to an album that you haven't checked out, that you wanted to, or like a general classic album every day for the month of Feb. So I've been doing that since the 1st. And I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I listened to the Tony Allen album that Peter was just referring to. I've listened to...
Swear down.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. Scott Fellow all over it.
Yeah.
Sade's first album, Diamond Life. That was the first one. That was the first album I listened to, the one to kick it off the month.
Oh man.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande as well, which was cool. Harry Styles as well.
Harry Styles.
Formerly of One Direction.
The 30 he picture is the most random 30.
I really enjoyed it. But these are ones I've really wanted to listen to, but I just haven't.
I respect it.
I want to see this 30.
It's a random 30, like it's just it's a variety of music choices. Like
Yeah, it is a variety, and that's kind of what I was going for. I've only got like 2 or 3 rap albums in there, one of which was Blue and Exile Miles, which I finally listened to.
It's long, innit?
Fucking loved it though.
You done Dua Lipa as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I did Dua Lipa. Yeah, that's probably the worst album I've listened to be honest. She pulled me in with the first track, and then the rest was just the same repetitive pop shit. So that wasn't too great. Fiona Apple as well, who's like a really well-known American artist.
Tidal.
No, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, the new one.
Check out Tidal. It's good.
I will check that
What
out.
did you think of that album that you listened to?
Which one?
Her one.
Really good. Really good. I enjoyed it. So let me just go through it. Day 1, Sade. Day 2, Ariana Grande. Day 3, Slint, Spiderland, which is basically like a garage rock album from like the 90s. Same kind of era as Nirvana. Dua Lipa on day 4. A guy called Boutro, who's like a house producer. Day 5, which is really good. Harry Styles, day 6. Emma V, Honeymoon. Day 7.
That album's amazing.
Which was good.
Big
really
up Emma
liked
V.
it.
That album's amazing.
Big up Emma V. Day 8, Leanne LaHavis, her self-titled album.
Amazing too.
Really good. Blue and Exile, day 9. Really loved that.
Meh.
Feel you. Tiana Taylor, day 10. The album, mid as fuck. And then Tony Allen, day 11. Fiona Apple, yesterday. And Gregory Isaacs, Night Nurse, today. Really, really good.
Okay.
Huh?
I never listened to it. I just want to.
Have you not?
No.
Yeah, just smooth reggae for your head top. Yeah, going well. And tomorrow is going to be Brittany Howard and Jamie.
That's a good album.
And I've also got stuff like T-Rex, Charlie XCX, Fleetwood Mac, Khalees, Billie Eilish.
Not T-Rex, the battle rapper, man.
No,
The rock band.
the glam rock band from the
Why
1970s.
the fuck would I know a group called T-Rex?
No, I was just making sure
Only
because I
T-Rex
thought
know is
your
a
mind would go to
dinosaur.
battle rap.
I know he went the battle rapper. Why would you ever listen to the battle rapper? I heard Charlie XCX there. What was Charlie XCX, did you say?
XCX, yeah.
The girl that sang with Iggy, sorry.
Yeah, fancy.
Salute to your musical vast.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to listen to more pop music.
I respect it.
And generally just trying to listen to more non-rap stuff because I realize that rap takes quite a lot of my time, and I'm trying to diversify a bit more.
Peter looked at me with a stern face and said, "Yo, not T-Rex the battle rapper."
No, I just needed to make sure, innit?
Yeah, I feel that.
He makes shit music anyway. Don't worry about it.
I also listen to Slow Tie's new album as well, which is fucking sick. So
yeah?
Shout out to Slow Tie for that one now. And Quez Darko and Kelvin Crash and Samo on production as well for the most part, and Kenny Beats and JD Reed as well for Into the Show. Shout out to everybody for their hard work on that album as well. It's dope.
Oh, I checked out Rags' project as well.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Apart from like OG Lullaby, which I loved, I weren't really feeling it too tough. I'm not gonna front.
You didn't like Nightcap?
It was alright, but
Damn, man, I love that shit.
yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, I mean, too short innit? But
Yeah.
these guys are the kings of that. But it's still good music at the end of the day.
Yeah, cool.
Hey man, we move.
And you know, our nephew Zach, shout out to Zach. He knows the words to OG Lullaby now, pretty much.
For real.
Not really. He just hums it for a long time. So
Hey,
yeah,
man.
shout out to Zachy.
Hey, salute to him.
Yeah, for real. All right, guys, let's move on to the first topic. So basically what we're going to talk about today is we're going to take off our London-centric hats today, and we're going to put on more of a regional hat today and talk about about regional rap in the UK and basically why it might be harder for someone who isn't from London necessarily to make it big as a artist in the UK. Now, obviously, we are very London-centric, and I feel like the music scene generally is very London-centric for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it's the centre of everything in the UK, but that might be to dismiss or ignore a lot of talent coming out, not coming from London. So the likes of Birmingham, Nottingham, all that kind of stuff. So I guess what we want to do today is kind of explore the idea of regional rappers and why it might be hard for them to break through compared to London rappers. So guys, what do we think?
I think in the immediate instance of thinking about what the issue might be, it might even boil down to something as small as an accent, where when you think about the nucleus of UK rap and grime and shit, or even just hip hop in general, innit, whether it's from the States or whatever, you kind of attribute it to having a particular sound from where it kind of started in that. Now, if I'm talking about from the UK perspective, it started in London, innit? Do you know what I mean? So the rappers that we're used to hearing, whether it's grime or not, it's with a certain tone, with a certain accent. Now, if it's a sound, or if you hear a voice that strays from that, it's kind of a bit foreign to you. You then now have to readjust how you take it in and whether you can even do that. So I just think it's just that alien thing, innit, where, you know, we don't necessarily understand things that appear different on the eye and on the ear. And I think initially that's probably where it starts off being quite difficult for people that are from London to accept rappers from other places in the UK.
Are we talking from a place of privilege in that respect?
Yeah, 100%. We 100% are, man. And I feel like it's similar to, like, you know, in America, like New York is seen as, like, you know, the bed, or like, you know, the genesis of where it all started, and that's probably why in the early stages, whether it's like late 80s or like early 90s, like rappers from the South had it quite difficult. It's because there's a difference, isn't it, in what you're used to hearing to what you're not. Now, rappers from the South sound so much different to rappers from New York, which is probably why they weren't as accepted. It represented like a shift and change in sound, whether it's the voice, whether it's just the tone, whether it's the beats. It just was different, innit? And a lot of the time when something is different, it can threaten what we know, and you become fearful because what you know and what you're familiar with is no longer just that. You're then forced to kind of just branch out and expand your horizons and that.
But to that point of but to that point of privilege, just to expand it a little bit more, the fact that we might feel a bit threatened by, you know, what we understand to be rap changing, is that then a little bit? Is that a bit big-headed of us?
Yeah, we're arrogant.
Big-headed in what way?
In the sense of, okay, there's this rapper from Birmingham, he's killing it. You know, he might not be as successful as the next rapper from London, but he is a sick MC, a sick artist. But we might not necessarily give him the chance because he's not from where we're from. It's a little arrogant, I feel like.
I definitely feel people from London have a sense of arrogance when it comes to listening to anyone from the outside. Because if you look at it, we're still playing catch up with, say, American rap. So because they're light years ahead of us, and we've just now started. If you look at it, I think the New York thing you done was spot on. We're still in that early stages. So if you look at London as New York, we are literally them back then in terms of we're not trying to hear no one come from somewhere else. We might collaborate with them, but if you check my phone, do I have anyone outside London on my phone? Nah. And I just feel like it might be, don't know if it's the accent barrier or what it is. I just feel like in London we live in such a secluded mindset where we're so used to our way, and anyone challenging the norm is going to come with a lot of pushback. Do you know what I mean? And also I feel like London, we're very arrogant in terms of where we believe like whatever happens here. No one knows that life outside London, and it's just like anyone talking that street shit has got a harder time coming out, even though what they've gone through might be 10 times worse. London,
Which it is more time.
Yeah, more time it is. Like if you're from Sheffield, if you're from Manly, if you're from Leicester, Leeds, whatever, Coventry. But whenever you're in London, you've just got arrogance to where it's like, these man don't know about that life. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? White man, you man don't know about that.
Do you think that's to do with, so that's an important point, but do you think that's to do with the fact that we see London as like being, for some reason, the only place in the UK that has like
crime,
African and Afro-Caribbean people? So obviously UK rap comes from black people. Yeah. Grime comes from black people. The further out of London you go, the whiter it gets. Does that represent what the rejection of other parts that aren't London is? Yeah,
because I feel like
it might.
Could it be a racial thing as well?
I think it definitely is a racial thing. I think there's a racial component
authenticity
with it.
Type of thing.
I think
where like, you know, if you're not black and if you're not black but you're doing this, it's not as, it can appear like it's not as real.
Because
you think that's what the issue?
Because of who you're around. Do you mean like because of what you've got to come up against?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've got to come up against essentially white people or Asians or whoever.
That's definitely a valid argument. Definitely a valid argument. But what would you say to black people from? You know,
exactly. Because you can't negate their experiences as well. They're still black and they're still in the UK, and there's racism all over the UK. It's not just London. Yeah,
but I think with regions, and I'm talking more from an industry standpoint now, I think where maybe they haven't been able to get as much shine as us in London is because the infrastructure in the regions aren't as strong as they are here, because everything is here. Everyone moves here. Like even if you are a big regional rapper like a Pass Aliu or a Slow Tie, more often than not you're going to be living in London because the opportunities that you get in London are not going to be around in where you're from. So there's that factor. But even those guys have managed to like I suppose, break the glass ceiling because people have identified with them through their messages, through their music and whatever. JK to an extent as well. So there's a Lady Leisha. There's a few. H as well. There's a few of them.
But it hasn't always been like that, though.
But it hasn't always been
even
like
recently.
that. But here's the thing: they've all had, like, especially Birmingham. They've all had Birmingham, like, grime wise, is probably stronger right now than London. Just for the pure fact that there's still quite a lot of, like, grime radio sets. There's quite a lot of grime MCs still, like proper grime MCs that just like freestyle, bar, and that's all they do. Whereas in London, maybe not so much. So
But what was the issue up until this point where we've had all these people from all these different places now be accepted? Because there clearly was an issue. Like from where, you know, we had like Black Twang, Skinny Man and all them, man. Obviously, like there was a certain sound that we were all accustomed to when it comes to UK rap. So there's always been I want to like preface what I'm saying, but like with what Mo said is very important too. We're still very new compared to like what they're doing in the States. But that still doesn't change the facts that what we've been used to has to do with the facts that maybe we haven't allowed for. I don't know how to make what I'm trying to say make sense.
I hear what you're saying, but
I've got so many thoughts at once. I'm trying to like piece them all together.
I think with that,
let me get it together. One sec.
With that, I think it's some more of a societal thing in terms of the music, as it relates to the music. So I think for the Black Twangs and the Ties and, you know, that generation, and even like the grime generation to an extent, we were still living in a time where rap in the UK was still pretty much not necessarily a novelty, but you only really had one or two successful UK rappers up until very, very recently. Like as recently as like Tiny, Tinchy, Chip, them, man. So in that, there's not a lot of spaces for even people from London to really be like big, let alone people from the regions. So there's been a shift in terms of the industry and in terms of visibility of rappers in general, thanks to the internet, thanks to social media, that have allowed not only rappers from the capital to get bigger in their own terms and, you know, for them to become household names, but for people from the regions too as well. So I think the internet and other things have kind of just broken down those barriers. Whereas before, you didn't really have that because rap was still so new, generally. Yeah. Like, Dizzy was really and truly the first mainstream rapper in that respect. And that was 03. So we weren't even thinking about what my man from Birmingham was doing in 03 because we were doing our stuff here. And then you talk about Tiny, and you talk about Tinchy. You know, those sort of like pillars of like commercial rap in this country. There was no one from anywhere.
So essentially, these regional places were just a victim of circumstance where, you know, us in the UK, we're still trying to fight out and get to a certain position as well. So, I mean, if we're not able to do that, there's no way you man are going to be able to do that. We're still trying to make it. So, especially this is where the music's coming from. London's the hub, isn't it? London's seen as the hub. So
and that's still going on. People are still trying to.
I think it's a lot easier now.
It's definitely a lot easier. Look how many artists we just reeled off 6-7 people. You wouldn't have been able to do that 5 years ago. But even when you look at the people you named, how many are really at that level? There's only maybe 2 or 3 outside London that have actually crossed over.
What's that level though? What level are you?
Who can you say is at the Dave or the Stormzy or the...
I mean, how many people do we have at that level anyway?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, just take everyone...
I'd say Lady Leisha.
What would you say?
Lady Leisha.
I don't think
Not in terms of...
Is Lady Leisha bigger than H? She's doing Dancing with the Stars, right?
I'd say so.
Musically...
Or Dancing on Ice.
Musically, no.
Musically...
If they both drop a project today, H is selling a lot more than that.
Of course. But I'm talking more like the proper visibility.
Yeah, that's because she's... Yeah, I mean, TV shows. I'm just right in terms of just musically. I'm just talking musically.
Oh, then, yeah, but you gotta say H.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, if you've got H and you've got... Parsley, I think is rewarded because he don't sound like he's from Coventry. When I hear Parsley, he passes for someone from London.
I've never heard the Coventry accent.
That's my point. I think he's
No, generally.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't know what it sounds
like. I mean, he just wears Cov on his sleeve, innit?
But my point is just in terms of the way he sounds, he could pass for someone from London. Now, if you look at...
But to that point, I think the exposure to so many different sounds is because it's the reason for that. Like, you don't necessarily sound like a regional rapper because you're taking in all these different sounds that kind of broaden the horizon of your music. That's why someone like Parsaliu, who is from Coventry, can sound like he ain't, because he's taking in Afro beats, he's taking in Gambian music, he's taking in UK rap, he's taking in US rap sort of shit.
Yeah, but that's my point though. So like, he don't sound like he's from London, and then he could do that. Take a Mist. Mist sounds like someone from Birmingham, and that's in my opinion that might have prevented him from being
bigger.
Being bigger, because he sounds like, as soon as you hear his voice, he's from Birmingham.
So we're going back to the accent.
Yeah, I generally do think but I think it's an arrogance within us from London where it's, if you sound like you're from outside, you've got to do more than convince us to listen to you.
Why do you think that is though?
I think we're arrogant. I generally feel like people from London have an arrogance where it's not to for everyone. I'm talking about the everyday guy.
So the fact that we know it's the hub and we're somewhat
it's just
of
like
a gatekeepers to the scene.
It's the New York thing. It's the New York shitting on South thing. It's literally that.
It's literally that. It's the knock-on effect. So obviously New York has, or just America generally, have seen us and still see us as the little brother. I think maybe that's had a knock-on effect on us to where Londoners will see other regions as the little brother, as to like, oh yeah, well, you're rapping a little bit, but you're not really going to take you that seriously.
Exactly.
Sort of thing. Which is a shame because Mist is dope. And maybe if he was from London, he might have been a bit bigger. Even though he is fairly successful as he is. And to be honest, he raps better than a lot of people who do the same shit as him.
No, but that's my point. And I'm saying he's talented. So my point is, I honestly feel like if he had a London accent, I feel like Mist would be bigger.
Okay, but all right, let me pose a question to both of you. The Streets, Mike Skinner, he's from Birmingham. You don't feel like him coming through the way he came through and when he came through helped? Because he came out quite early. He came out before all these other artists from all these different places felt the confidence to start really putting their music out there and were even being accepted.
He definitely helped. But I think with him, he was still an anomaly in the sense of you never really saw anyone from that area get as big as him immediately after, or really in the next half decade or even a decade after. He came out in what, 01?
Around that time, yeah.
Around that time. So by 2011, who's the biggest rapper that we know who isn't from London? It's probably still the Streets, to be honest. You know what I mean? So,
and to be honest with you, I don't know if Mike Skinner would, him coming out of Birmingham, I don't know if
the Streets were kind of big, bro.
The Streets were big, but I don't know how many, say a lot of the roadmen that was in Birmingham were listening to them and going, yeah, Mike Skinner. I never listened. I'm not saying I was a roadman. I never listened to Mike Skinner.
The rappers though, the rappers big him up.
Alright, fair enough. I'm just saying, in terms of if I'm a young black kid in Birmingham growing up, seeing Mike Skinner make it would not make me feel like the Streets are there. I could do. Do you know what I mean?
It depends.
Because it's a different walk of life. It's a different everything.
It definitely depends. But like, I hear what you're saying. I
didn't look at the Streets rapping and go, you know what? Let me pick up a pen.
Yeah.
Never in my life. Never have the Streets ever made me want to pick up a pen.
I also think that
salute to them though.
Yeah, for sure. I also think, I mean, maybe I can only say this because I'm somewhat in the scene, but I feel like
somewhat he says.
In it.
Somewhat he says.
Somewhat.
This brother was partying in YouTube with Burna Boy and he said somewhat in the
was sniffing Georgia Smith's neck.
Fam.
Guy telling me somewhat.
Do you know what it is to be at a YouTube party just with Leo Cole? Just like, hey, one more.
Key King with my jammer and that.
Do you know what it means to be doing all of this?
Talk to your boy, man.
And he says somewhat. Yo, he's disgusting, bro. This guy needs to be arrested,
man. Innit, man?
He needs to be arrested.
With his white socks.
With his white socks, fam. With his scarf. Sitting there looking stupid. I love it when that happens, boy. I love it.
Yeah, as you were.
Go on a tangent, it's amazing. But yeah, you were saying, Yemi?
So yeah, I'm somewhat in the scene. And I feel like maybe there are a lot of rappers that are from London. I don't know if that's the case as much in the other regions. Obviously, we can talk about Birmingham because Birmingham is like the second city. You're gonna have loads of rappers come from there, but you know, to come from where, let's say, Snow Tires come from, he's from Northampton, or I don't know who else. Easy Gibbs is also from Northampton as well. So these are places where they're not necessarily known for their rapping. So we still have quite a massive concentration of talent in London. So that probably also feeds into the arrogance thing to where we've got loads here. Why do we need to listen to outside? And
there's the fact that some of these artists are moving to London as well.
Yeah.
Because you forget that they're from other places as well. Like for me, I'm not as familiar to like a lot of these current artists like you guys.
Really?
So when you guys say these names, shut up.
Yeah,
so when you man say
a
these
lot of these names
names,
you don't know.
A lot of these names, huh?
So when you say these guys' names, I just assume they're from London, and that's where the what's the word you used?
The arrogance.
Arrogance comes.
Like past Saliu, did you think he was from London?
Yeah.
Thought so.
But again, they're going to London because there's not much by way of opportunities where they're from, because it's not set up like that musically. There's not much of an industry there. The industry is all here.
How much of that is a problem as well? Because if these places have big scenes, it could be to the point where they don't necessarily need to bubble in the UK, in London, for them to be bigger.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to start to happen. That's my point. I feel like we're going to get to the point of where
A lot of these places to start
it's like
bubbling.
America now in the South, where it's like, you know what, you guys can keep it. We've got our own thing here, and we're gonna.
I don't know, man.
We can't be.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
going to
change.
Gonna be the base.
I don't know if it's going to change very soon. Because
That's what New York.
even outside of music, and America is so much bigger.
No, I don't mean they're going to be the hub of music. I'm not saying Birmingham's going to be.
No,
the hub
of course not. But I'm
they're just
saying
going to stop looking for us as much.
Yeah, I hear that. But at the same time, I don't know if Birmingham or all these other places are going to be that as much, because London is still London. The same way New York is still New York. Thing with America is, like, they're
so
bigger
much
cities, and they've got all their mini economies and shit. And I know, obviously, all the other cities in London, like the UK, do as well. But it's just not the same.
You're not
where
comparing Atlanta to Birmingham.
this is what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's not much there. If you're a rapper from Atlanta, you can stay in Atlanta and be good. You can't say the same for someone from Birmingham.
It's a bit harder. But wait, is it hypocritical? Because if it's an accent thing, so why do we allow UK rappers from London particularly to have or try and rap with an American type of tone sometimes? They're okay.
I feel like that's been stopped though.
But there was a point in time where that was
We were begging it.
overlooked.
We were begging it. We were begging it. We were begging it for sure. And I feel like it was still a case of looking up to, looking up to our big brother in the US, but also just trying to sound more marketable. Like, I even wrote a piece about this recently, about just the evolution of UK hip hop, and like the very first MCs up until like London Posse and them, they rapped in American accents because a British MC was so alien. So in order to make yourself familiar with US audiences, and just make yourself more marketable, you had to rap in an American accent. I think now when people do it by choice, they're trying to impress somebody.
You don't hear it as much now with like
No, you don't.
the tone. It might be more with the flow. Particular example was a Krypton Conan song actually with Rick Ross, and it was just the whole style of like the beat to the flow. It just sounded very American-y.
The one on the Long Way From Home album.
I believe so.
They were in there like, I'm going to collab with US
They
people
had
a
Wiz
lot
Khalifa
in
on
that
it,
time.
YG on it,
At that
Rick
time,
Ross.
and that was still a time when Skepta had just dropped Ace Hood Flow, like 2012, just basically admonishing and criticizing people who do that. But it was still kind of fresh, and it was still a time where the scene was kind of still opening up, and you kind of needed to do that to survive. Even Skepta hopped on the Hello Good Morning remix because he knew he had to.
Which was hell, by the way.
I never listened and I never will.
It was hell.
I'm sure it was. Chip and Chris Brown, like, this shit was happening.
Freak of the week.
Freak of the week. So I think elements of that are always going to remain, especially if you're trying to make yourself familiar to those people and you're trying to break America to that extent. Because only very few people are really going to break America, like properly break it, like being who they are. Skepta, I suppose, kind of did, but I still have a feeling that when you go to America, people, half of them are not going to know who he is. So did you really break it, or did you just break New York for a bit? And pretty much that's it, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it might all boil down to arrogance and just the idea of like, we're so big here, like, why are you over here?
Yeah, I think the way we walk around is like we're big bollocks. Like it's London.
That's a problem though.
But what about outside of England as well? Because we're talking about just within like England. What about like
Scotland,
Ireland, Because Ireland, they have Reggie Snow. He's a very good rapper. Do you know what I
They've
mean?
got-
But he
they've got a
doesn't
scene
get
there.
like bare attention. Like
They've
that.
got a scene there for sure. They've got him. They've got who else they got? Oh man, there was another big one.
I think you picked one for.
Oh, let me just
Who's
remember.
the one that wears the Naruto face?
Oh, Officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on. Yeah, he raps on drill. He's dope.
Yeah.
And that's also another thing. Does it depend on what they're rapping on and their style of rap?
1000%, bro.
Because I feel like more like drill rappers, I feel like if you're not from London, you don't have to be from London to do it.
This is my
You can be more accepted, still keep the authenticity of that sound, and be accepted. Whereas if you're doing like traditional backpack boom bap,
This is what I was gonna say.
and you have like, you know, a Scouse accent,
Kojak.
for some reason, you're just not. It's harder for you.
I disagree. I think where's Slow Tie from?
Northampton.
That's my point. It's easier for a Slow Tie from Northampton.
What style of rap would you say he does?
Man, I don't know anyone from Northampton, but
No,
he might
I'm
not sound like anyone who's from there.
I'm saying,
is he
I'm
like
saying,
drill? Is he
Oh, no, he's like-
backpack rap?
He's like UK hip hop, grime,
Okay.
a mixture of the
and
two.
my point is, if he was a drill rapper, it's gonna be harder for him to come out because of the way people from London look up in terms of that gang shit.
Nah, I
I
disagree.
don't think
man.
no,
telling you,
I
'cause
don't
yo,
think so.
Bro, a
man.
lot of these areas on crud, you know.
No, and that's my point.
But also there's drill
that's-
popping out everywhere.
That's my point. They are on crud. Like, they fully are on crud. But I feel like in London's got a bit arrogant to it, where it's like, no one's doing it. Where they're more on it than people in
Nah,
London.
I
But we
disagree- I
took it from
disagree with that,
the
bro.
US though.
What do you say?
We took drill from the US. We
Yeah,
just
no,
UK
I know,
find
I know.
it.
Bro, do you know how easy it is to build? And I don't want anyone to get offended, but do you know how easy it is to build the drill aesthetic?
Image. Yeah.
It's simple. You need a couple ballies. You need about 15 man behind you,
A
gun
couple more,
fingers,
and that's it.
and just talking crud.
Everyone wearing gloves.
You don't feel like it's easy for like loads of people that are not from England
And say the
or
word ching a
from
lot.
London to do that.
Say the word what?
Ching. Say that ching. Say ching a lot.
Yeah, man, bare people can do that. That's way more acceptable.
yeah,
It's
I mean-
easier to do
I think it's
compared to like, you know, lyrical miracle backpack. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
especially as drill is the sound now.
fair enough.
You know
I'm
what I'm saying? Even Afro swing and that.
No, fair enough.
You can get any man that's not from London doing Afro swing and it can still bang and they can like really be like getting a level of attention and it'd be okay.
And the only thing that would make you think that someone who is doing any kind of music is different to anybody else is the accent. Like Officer, for example, he doesn't sound Irish. You know what I'm saying? But he grew up there. He raps in an African accent sometimes and his natural speaking accent. Australian drill. The only reason why you would think it was Australian is because of the accent, sort of
I
thing.
would never listen
So-
to Australian drill a day in my life.
It's all right. Listen
I
to 1/4.
refuse to.
You're all right.
Go
They're more
Australian.
Samoan, but they're from Australia.
I mean, I'm never going to listen.
Okay.
Australian drill.
This like arrogance and that and this like gatekeeper type attitude that we've had. I feel like in fact, a lot of MCs have been robbed out of like a decent career. Even Devilman. Remember Devilman that clashed Skepta?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was actually good.
Was he?
He was a good rapper. He could spit.
Okay.
Was he?
I'm not saying he made amazing music,
I mean-
but just not being given the chance to explore and, you know, just have the opportunity to like, you know, build your fan base. It's not based on your accent and based on where you're from. That's not common, man.
Yeah, that was very, very niche because he was like, side one song,
He was like the
all
first
that
one
shit.
that I heard that weren't from London.
He might have.
He was very niche, especially during that time.
Yeah.
saying.
Even now, he's still very niche.
Mm.
Like from when, even people like,
Even Children of Zeus, Thingy Daily, the singer.
Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler Daly.
he was a rapper. You know what I mean? And like, I think is he Manchester or bro?
Money.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, and he was decent. But I guess because of the accent again, he weren't really given time to like shine like that.
It's a tricky one, man. Because you said Lady Lucia. She's one of the dopest we've had, females, period. And does she get her flowers? But has that got something to do with the region, or is that just got something to do with the way?
I don't know what it is, man. There's just a disconnect somewhere.
I genuinely
I
do.
don't know what
I
it
think
is,
I
man.
think it is. I think it's a mixture of both arrogance and the accent. I
But
think
do
it's a
you
mix of
two
both.
personally receive the music differently?
Nah.
If they're not from London.
Nah, not at all.
It depends on the it depends on the artist. To be honest with you,
Not at all.
It depends on the
'Cause
artist.
I don't even know how I would sound telling you, man, oh, I didn't really like it too much because of the accent. I don't know how I would sound. I might sound mad.
I mean, you say that, but there's some southern rappers in the States that I just can't get into.
Like,
One, maybe because of their voice, because of their flow, or just because of the sound. So you wouldn't be that crazy. But I mean, trying to like shut out a whole region because of how they sound, though, that's when you would sound crazy. But if you personally don't like something because of how it sounds, I don't think that's the maddest.
can I ask a question?
For me, saying that I don't like something, I don't fuck with this because of the accent, that just sounds mad to me.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
And Pete, I think there's a difference between, say, if we say, yo, I can't listen to this guy from South because of his.
See, I would never say I can't listen to him because he's from the South. I just don't like how some rappers from the South sound.
Yeah, but they also sound a lot different to that someone from the UK in terms of the slang they use, the words they use. Do you get what I mean?
So
It's
there's more to it.
It's way more to it than just Whereas with UK, it is literally
Just the accent.
I can't fuck with them because of their accent.
Mm.
Whereas if someone lives in the south and we live in the UK,
Yeah.
bro, I won't understand Kodak Black if he speaks to me on road because of the way they talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a lot more to it. I'm gonna understand someone from Birmingham.
There's inflections,
Yeah,
there's
yeah, that's
true,
dialect,
that's true.
there's
Yeah, it's a lot more
your
than just
slang.
the accent. Yeah.
there's that sort of stuff. Whereas you don't have
The
that as
pocket
much
they
here.
pick, everything, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have it as much here, which is why it might sound a bit more mad just to say, oh yeah, I don't listen just because of the accent. And more often than not, you can understand what they're saying. So it's not even really that much of an excuse, the accent. Especially now, if you like people like H and you like people like that. If anything,
I thought I wasn't gonna understand Mist. I remember the first time someone was like, "Yo, Mr. Birmingham rapper, I have a listen to him in it," but they were making it out like his accent was beyond belief.
yeah.
Like I thought, I played them. I'm like, yo, you hear everything he's saying. Let's not act like you can't. But I feel like we act up on people that are outside to an unnecessary level. Now, can I ever see us ever having the biggest rapper in the UK and he's not from London at any point in the near future? No.
You never know, man.
Parsaliu's up there, but
If he carries
can
on,
I see Parsaliu being on Stormzy's level? No.
well, it depends. You never know.
I hope so, man. I hope he gets it. He's amazing, but
Streets probably bump him more.
This might sound
that's
crazy.
an
This might sound
understatement.
crazy, yeah.
That's
But
an understatement.
with a name like Par Saliu, can he be as big as Stormzy? Because I think all of that comes into it as well, you know. Even something just
In terms of a house,
even something like a name.
in terms of a household name, I mean, you raise a good point.
Do you know what I mean? Because like the industry is weird, man. Like who they allow to get to a certain point, and even how like fans connect with people as well. It's different for different reasons. Stormzy's like we can have
got two
the
different fan
industry
bases.
plant conversation as much as we want, but the name Stormzy is one that's quite easy. It's quite memorable, and in a sense, it's quite traditional, man. If we go back to like when we man had tags and that, like Stormzy would be like an easy name to like. You probably came across bare Stormzy's.
Not
Do you know what I mean?
I
As a
haven't had
tag.
Not white people.
I had Hurricane in year 7.
But these are the men that fuck with Stormzy more.
Yeah.
It's true.
But yeah, what I'm saying is like, with a name like Par Saliu, I don't know if.
What about Dizzy Rascal?
See, you would think that might be a bit.
A bit much.
Yeah, but I mean, he made it work.
I think it depends on you as a person, man.
Mm.
Dizzy was Cockney. I think it just depends on who you are as well.
Mm.
Your face needs to match your name. Then your face and the way you present yourself matters more than the name to a certain extent. Like, can you sit on an interview and the way you act? Do you know what I mean? It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, do names for these rappers from different regions come into it as well?
Nah,
then?
man.
We missed Lady Leisha, H, Slow Tie. I mean, Slow Tie.
I don't know. I don't think it does.
Nah, names don't matter like that to me.
Mm.
Nah, I didn't think about it twice.
Not at
Nah,
all.
I couldn't think about it twice.
Yeah, man. In conclusion, I just think it's a mixture of things. Obviously, it's the arrogance. I think in terms of like the infrastructure, there's still a lot left. What am I trying to say? There's a lot to be desired in terms of what's going on in the respective scenes throughout the country. They're obviously not as big as the industry here. Maybe they need to be for these stars that, could probably change things over there to stay and build instead of coming to London and, building from here. But at the same time, that's probably always going to change because, listen, all the labels are here. All the radios here, pretty much all the radios that you care about and all that stuff as well. So that's always kind of continue. But where I think they're going to thrive is the internet and social media.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to propel them to maybe not necessarily like Stormzy's level, but to a level where, we know who they are.
Yeah.
Like the JKs, the H's, the Slow Ties and shit. So for now, if that's the only way we can get forward, then boy, so be it.
So
Yeah, I mean, we're in a good time, man. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, we can go viral like click of a finger. You know what I mean? So you don't necessarily have to come to London. You can, if you're from Birmingham, Liverpool, Bristol, you can go viral from your bedroom with like just some, a bit of luck and some rap skills. Do you know what I mean? So we're in a good time where
even the rap skills are in question.
Huh?
Don't think you need rap skills.
But more often
that's
than not,
probably,
but the people,
depending on how you look at it, that's maybe a good thing.
but loads of them outside London do.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the thing. It's the people from London who are showing.
Fam,
you
there's
don't need
bare
it.
Bristol man that are like lyrical, miracle.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
They respect the craft a
they
lot more.
bar it. Yeah, they really
Are we
bar
really
it.
becoming New York? Well, our own
In what
arrogance.
sense?
What was the
lets us-
question?
Well, are we really becoming New York? Like, you remember New York had a period where their own arrogance didn't let them see that they didn't have the best rappers. Is our own arrogance getting us in the way of not seeing that we got the best rappers?
Not yet.
But I'm
Because
saying, are we getting it though?
Nah, because as long as we are running things in the UK, then we will never really have to check ourselves. In America, New York had to, because the South, they took that shit.
And
I
also,
ran
You feel me? So they had no choice.
I suppose
They even started adapting to what the South were doing. They started like
yeah.
French Montanas and that.
Yeah.
If you look at French Montana when he was like on DVDs first early, it was so different to how he's rapping now.
Yeah, and then he went to go stay with
A lot of them
Michael's mum.
started adopting like, you know, the Southern style of rapping. Even like Fat Joe, East Coast, like what some people consider to be like an OG or a legend. His sound started to change
He made that make
from
it rain.
like Flojo to flipping Make It Rain. So they adapted that. In the UK, we don't have to do that because, no disrespect, there's no regions
no
that
one
are
plan.
threatening to take the mantle from London because everything is still here.
yeah,
And they won't, because of the reason why Yemi said as well, London is always going to be the epicenter of the
yeah,
UK.
yeah.
But let a label start up in Liverpool
They won't.
and they start
Yo.
signing all these artists, and these artists just start chanting like mad. That could be like
no,
Yeah,
the
they
start
need the structure around.
yeah, that could be the start of something.
I don't think that will ever happen, though. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where
Probably not.
the top 4 out of 5 rappers are not from London. There's never going to be a time that happens. Or the top 3 out of 5 is not from London.
Well, it depends on what you mean by top.
As in the highest charting or the biggest names. Either charting or names, whichever way you take it.
If H carries on, he will be.
Now, is H a privilege of, is it white privilege or is it because he's a good rapper?
Probably both. Definitely both.
So then take H out of it, because how many white rappers are going to come out and make the same impact? Do you get what I mean?
Who knows, man?
I can't see a time happening where London ain't at the top for rappers.
No,
I
I hear what
can't
you're
see
saying.
it
I
ever
hear what you're
in
saying.
my life. And the reason is because of the reason you gave. UK's small. Birmingham ain't the size of Atlanta. Liverpool ain't Compton. Do you know what I mean? California. Yeah, it's not that. That's not the case.
Mm.
There's only so much they could do in that small space.
Final question before we move on. I was reading an interview in The Guardian. I think it might have been Trillery Banks, H, and someone else. One of them, I don't know who it was, but one of them said that places outside of London rep the UK better than rappers from London. Like they were not criticizing, but they were saying that sometimes you get a case where rappers from London sound American and that. Whereas you won't find that with man from like, you know, Leicester or Nottingham and that. They sound like they're from the UK.
That's a great point.
Do you think that's true?
That's a great point.
I think it's a numbers game. It's not fair.
It's a great point, though.
It's not though.
I think it's a good point too.
I think
a great point.
I think it's a numbers game.
How so?
If there's only 2 rappers that's known in Manchester
Don't do that.
compared to 45 to 50 in London, and out of that 50, 4 sound like they're American, bro, it's a numbers game. How many Manchester rappers do you guys really know? No disrespect.
No, but it's
Don't
the
do
fact.
that.
But Mo,
don't do that.
Mo,
It sounds like I'm disrespecting.
Mo, it's the fact that they've had to sound American anyway. That's the problem.
No, but my point, and I get that. I'm not disagreeing. Some London people sound like they're from America. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But my point is, when there's so many rappers in London, there's always going to be those people. However, if we look at the vast majority of the people that are actually, if you look at the top 5 rappers in London right now, none of them sound American to me.
Yeah, but we're saying that from a privileged position because we don't know Wagwan in those other areas. There could be loads of MCs in those areas that are rapping the UK better than the 4 or 5 amazing top ones here.
But clearly they're not. If they're not, we can. When it says repping UK,
But we've just established why that's not the case, bro.
representing it in front of everyone, right?
Yeah, but bro, we've already established that's not the case because they're at a disadvantage from the beginning. So even if they are repping the UK, we might not be able to hear it.
So therefore, they're not repping the UK better because we're not hearing it.
No,
That's-
no,
nah.
that's incorrect.
No,
That's not a fair way of judging it at all.
no. Because again,
So if
you're saying it from
if a tree falls in the forest and no one sees it, did it fall?
yes.
Did you see it?
Who gives a fuck if I didn't see if I saw
Do
it?
you get what I mean? Like if no one's hearing them, am I bugging here?
If a tree,
I feel like I know what Mo's trying to say, and you're not all the way. You're wrong,
Don't do that.
but you're not all the
Do you
way
get what
wrong.
I'm saying, though?
I get what you're trying to say.
If at the top is Dave, Stormzy, whoever, and then you've got 5 youths in Nottingham rapping, no disrespect. You've got 5 guys in Nottingham rapping, yeah? They're rapping their arse off. They're rapping better than all 5 of them. Which is doubtful.
Okay,
But say they're rapping
I see
very
what you
well.
mean. I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
And no one's listening to them, but we've got these guys here repping us. I'm sorry.
Okay.
they're not
yeah, but the
holding up.
reason, but why that's unfair is because the light is already on a London man.
Then don't make that example. Then don't say you're holding it better than us.
I think what they were trying to say was just that you never have to worry about them man switching.
H
their
is not
accents.
rapping at the top 10 people in the UK.
We're not talking about skills here. We're talking about just how you sound to someone that's not from
Okay.
England
I think that's
or
wrong.
from
but
the
that's
UK.
I think it's a numbers game, but you man.
Listen, man. these man, especially the London man, they are by default repping the UK because they're one of the few visible rappers that rep the UK that the world knows about. So it's already at a disadvantage for those people. But to what the original point was, they're not rapping in American accents. They're not trying to do that. We're not trying to bridge that gap. So they're literally about the bars and they're about repping where they're from. So that's why it's a bit more of a difference and a bit more complicated for you to say what you're saying.
I'm not
shitting
on them. I'm not saying they're not rapping better. I'm just saying if there's eyes ain't on you, but there's eyes on these guys and these guys are doing a stand-up job, you can't say that you're repping. What do you say?
Stormzy's not doing a stand-up job.
Is Dave doing a stand-up job?
100%.
All right, cool. Dave, we'll take him then.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. If
This isn't an anti-Stormzy podcast, by the way.
Yeah, cool. But if Dave's doing a stand-up job and all the eyes are on him, and do you get what I mean? I'm just saying, if the eyes are on London, the certain amount of London rappers, you can't say you're holding it better than us. Impossible behavior, and this might just be the biasness. This might be
impossible behavior.
This might be full on bias because I'm from London. But no, stop it. If I can't go to the average man and he can't name more than 5 rappers in your city, there's no way you're saying you're holding it better than man in London.
No. Now, Mo, you're trying.
And they're doing it at a good level.
No, now you're chatting shit. You can't say that.
You can edit that. That's just a slick shot. I can't lie.
You can't say that though. You just can't say.
Why
that.
not?
Because again, those London rappers have more light, so it's easier for them to come.
But that's my point. So therefore, they're the ones that are repping the UK.
Can I finish? You can't. Now I forgot my point.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's gone.
Apologies.
I think the point I was trying to make was that it's difficult to judge based on those that are getting a light versus those that aren't getting a light.
Yeah.
That's not to say that the ones that aren't getting a light wouldn't, if put in a position, still rep the UK better than those London men. So it's not fair for you to be like, yo, just because, we know more of the London man versus not knowing more of, the Nottingham man or the Leeds man, they're repping it, the London man are repping it better than them, man. It's just that they're in position to rep it more.
That's my point. I never said they're repping it better.
No, but you're basically saying that them man can't even come with that chat because we don't know them, man. That's incorrect. You can't say that. That's unfair.
How is that unfair?
It's unfair because it's unfair. It's unfair because
if I tell you I'm repping, if I tell you I'm in a war, yeah, and then say I'm fighting for Somalia, and say I'm captain Somalia, so my face is there, and I'm front line of the war, and then the man that are back in Somalia helping us out, but they're doing an all right job, but I'm there every day fighting, and people see me, bro. My face is there. I'm doing a better job. Do you get what I mean?
Nah.
If I don't know you, and I'm just saying even this, making it seem like it's disrespectful. If I don't know you, but your music is great, and there's a litany of London people I know, and 90% of them don't sound like they're better than American.
I think Mo's feeling a bit disrespected by that comment because
you're picking out the 4 or 5.
It's kind of like, yo, we've been holding it down. Yeah, we've been the hub, but we've been holding it down for the longest for people that aren't from the UK. So for whomever, whether you're from flipping Sheffield or wherever it's come out and say, yo, we would rep it, we rep it better than you London, man. For Mo, it's a bit of a slap in the face because we've been doing this. Where are you, man?
I get that, but you are. But
great, I answered it.
Great,
yeah, I know.
Great.
Yeah.
Where are you? Fam, there's no way for them to be visible.
You can't blame that on London, though.
We've just talked about for the last 50 minutes about how it's a privilege. Okay, obviously we can't blame London.
That's what I'm saying.
But at the same time, it's kind of hard for you to make the argument you're making when the fucking apparatus is not in place in those places for them to be able to rep in the same way that London people do.
Let's end it on that. That's exactly it.
But despite all that, I would encourage you guys, everyone who's listening, to try, and if you don't, listen to more non-London rappers as well, because listen, there's a lot of good stuff there.
A lot of good talent out there.
There's a lot of good talent out there. I mean, we've named a litany of them. There's still loads. Want to send a shout out?
JB Schofield.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these guys out there.
Jeez,
man.
he's just ringing off
I
new
know
school
people,
names.
man. I just don't need to.
Did you look them man up?
Huh?
Did you look them up?
100%.
Hey, there you go.
The Naruto brother was sick though.
Millions for sure. Millions is like
Yeah,
one of my favorite rappers right now. He's just sick. JB Schofield was dope. Kojak.
Bugsy Malone. Do you know what I mean? Still like him.
Kojak from Dublin. Hair Squad from Dublin. Ice Star
I like Reggie
from
Snow a
Liverpool. There's loads, man. There's loads. Just Banco.
A lot of talent out there, man.
So yeah,
You know
Big
what I
up all
mean?
those guys, man. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. So, I suppose we want to talk now a bit about how we measure and how we define the best rapper alive. Now, the best rapper alive is different to the greatest rapper ever, in the sense of the best rapper alive, meaning, I suppose, who's the hottest right now, and lyrically, who's like some of the best.
I mean, that's what we're going to discuss because I've got some views, man. I feel
Yeah,
like
I've got, yeah.
I feel like we often. I'm never going to say we because I'm not part of these, man. But
Ooh.
I feel no, I'm not talking about you two. I just mean like the people out there that listen to rap and that. But I feel like people often misconstrue the hottest versus the best versus the greatest. People often confuse being the greatest and being the best. They're not the same thing. Neither is being the hottest versus being the greatest or being the best. Those are two different things. Now, for me, being the hottest just means being the most popular. It doesn't even necessarily have to do with your skill set. Now, being the best is to do with your skill set in that particular moment in time. Now, being the greatest is to do with your skill set over a long period of time. That's for me is the difference between all three. But for me now, it just feels as though people that definitely aren't the best are considering themselves to be the best now, and it's good for you to do that. You got to be confident in your skill set, innit? Do you know what I mean? Believe in your source, but shame the devil and tell the truth, innit? Do you know what I mean? A lot of these men aren't the best at what they do. They might be the hottest, but by no means are they the best at what they do.
Well,
and that's just how I feel.
I hear that. Well, I want to take it back a little bit because the first time I remember anyone referring to themselves as the best rapper alive was Lil Wayne. And at the time, he was in the middle of his mixtape run, and he could definitely make a claim to be the best rapper alive. I'm pretty sure Jay-Z did as well on Dirt Off His Shoulder, calling himself the best rapper alive. Like one of those like fading ad-libs.
So I backed out it with the black the best rap. Yeah.
So that was even before Wayne. So this has been a thing for a minute, and to Peter's definition of what the hottest, the best, and the greatest is, to me now, it just seems as if measuring the best rapper alive might be the more difficult thing to do out of all three, because obviously there are a lot of rappers out here that can claim to be the best out. How do we measure that? And is the way we measure that the same as it's always been?
It's changed.
It's a tricky one. So I agree with you, by the way. There's the best and the hottest and the greatest. So when we talk the best, I look at it, if you're still in your peak of your rap's career, or if you're still earlier on, or if you're still in the midst of making music, I still class you as under the best category. So if I feel like you still got your best years ahead of you, if you're in the middle of a run, I class you as part of the best. But if I now look at your career as cool, you've done the majority of what you're going to do. Let's say Jay-Z. Jay-Z has now given us the majority of what he's going to give us. He's now classed in that the greatest of all time catalog. Nas, he's given us the majority of what he's going to give us. He's now in that other catalog. Do you know what I mean?
Can they still be in the best category?
I wouldn't. If you ask me who's the best rapper alive, I'm going to say Kendrick Lamar, because I feel like it's unnecessary to keep putting Jay-Z in that conversation. At some point, you elevate from that conversation.
I feel you.
And we've got to give you that respect.
Yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with that. I just want to add on to that. What about if they're still current though? If they're still currently releasing music, still rapping features, why can't they still be in the best conversation?
Because
they can be in the greatest and the best conversation.
Because it's always going to be lopsided.
In what sense?
In terms of,
it's always going to be the same names.
So exactly.
And so,
sometimes that's not fun.
What do you mean?
Sometimes that's not fun, bro. We're in the spirit, bro. You can look at me like that all you want, but we're in the spirit. We are rap fans. We love debating. It gets a bit boring when we keep mentioning the same names over and over again for the greatest and the best. Sometimes you want new blood to be in there just to enhance the conversation. So even
maybe
if
that's where it's changed. Then maybe the conversation now is geared more towards real current, fresh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The people that are still in the middle
rappers
of their
rapping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who aren't the J's and the N's and the M's and all them, man. You know what I'm saying? So it takes, I think you don't consider skill as much when you're measuring the best rapper alive, because if you did, then we would be mentioning the same names over and over again. But more so, who is active right now, maybe going through a purple patch, like a Kendrick or, you know, whoever, and what they're doing with that, and how current they are as well.
I'm still quite, I'm going to be very literal in the sense of the word. Now, if you ask me who I think is the best rapper alive, I'm going to tell you who I think is the best rapper alive. I don't care if they're in the conversation for the greatest or not. If the person that I have in mind has released music within the last couple of years and is still doing features every so often, then if I feel like they're the best lyrically, then I'm going to say them.
So if I was to ask you, and Yemi as well, who's the hottest, who's the best, who's the greatest for you?
I don't know if I'm qualified to say who the hottest is, but I'll give it a go.
I'm glad you know yourself, by the way.
Shut the fuck up. The hottest.
Not yourself.
I'm just gonna throw out the easy names, innit? Like, you know, the Baby and Little Baby and maybe one of those two. And the reason why I don't feel like I'm qualified is because I don't necessarily pay attention too much to what is going on currently, but I see a little bit. Now with Little Baby, I've seen his name around a lot. I've seen the Baby's name around a lot. I've seen good things that people have said about them. I've seen their music everywhere and how people are reacting to it. So I'm going to attribute that to being hot. Now, then you've got the Drakes and that, right? Now, whenever Drake is around, he's the hottest. I don't think that's any argument. And it's because of the type of music that he puts together. But what Mo said earlier, some people kind of graduate from certain conversations. I don't know if... I still feel that Drake can still be in that conversation because as long as he's been in the game, he's still the most popular rapper at any given moment.
But he's not the hottest.
He can be, though.
I'll let Yemi go.
He can be. Jay-Z can still be the hottest.
Jay-Z can definitely not be the hottest.
Why not?
Jay-Z in 2020 is not the hottest rapper ever.
No, he's not being the hot. He's not the hottest now.
Yeah.
But next year, if he was like, yo, you know what? I want to have a busy year. I want to do features and I'm going to drop an album.
He won't be the hottest rapper.
And all those features, say he does like 3 or 4 features, right? He bodies all of them. Then he drops a flawless album.
He won't be the hottest rapper.
Why not?
Because what are we talking about hottest? When we mention hottest, he'll be the best rapper because you know why? The people that will listen to Jay are the rap fans. So we will say he's the best rapper or the GOAT. But when we're talking hottest, we're talking on a mainstream level. We're talking.
So Jay-Z's not mainstream.
Jay-Z is not in the most nicest form. If he drops an album next year, and this is will not be hotter than Little Baby. Unfortunately,
who told you that?
It's a young man's world, bro. Am I bugging you?
This is where we're gonna disagree.
Am I bugging?
Because that's not true.
I see what you're saying.
What are you judging hottest on? What are you judging hottest on?
Popularity
around the world.
Yeah.
Or around just rap fans.
Both.
Because if you're talking,
it's gonna be both.
If you're talking both,
popularity is popularity.
If you're talking both, and this is not me, Jay-Z would always be bigger than Little Baby. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying he won't be bigger than Little Baby. I'm just saying if we're talking hottest in terms of when you go out, you're gonna hear his music played. When you're driving, when you see cars driving past, you're gonna hear that his music being played. It'll be Little Baby.
It's mainstream.
You don't always know that though, bro.
Just on a mainstream level.
Listen to what I just said to you. If Jay did if Jay does 4 features this year, right?
Depends on the
not
features.
including the Nipsey tune that he just put out. If he does 4 features, right, from now to December, he then decides, you know what? Let me just throw a little album out there. He drops the album. It's fire. You don't feel like people are gonna be still bumping the verses, the features that they love, and the album too,
bro.
And that doesn't qualify him as being the hottest.
It depends on who you're asking. Are you asking rap fans or are you asking like casual fans?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's just keep it to rap fans, innit?
Then 1000%.
Then we can't.
No, because you said it's a young man's game. So
no, I'm talking about on a casual level. I'm talking about this is my point.
Yeah, when you talk about popularity, when you talk about the hottest rapper ever, I think it's way more casual than it is like rap fan. You know what I'm saying? So the people that you see in the charts,
they're way more casual people know Jay than the Baby.
Little Baby.
But they'll
whichever of the babies.
Yes, but they'll be listening to Little Baby more than listen to Jay.
I don't necessarily believe that.
You can believe it, or you can't not believe it all you want, bro.
If Jay,
the young fans will,
the
be,
young
100%.
No disrespect.
And there's more. I imagine there's a lot of like young rap fans now that listen to like that new generation a lot more than, let's say, our generation listen to our generation.
Then if that's the case, then the conversation is always going to be bullshit.
That's what, bro. I've said it to you. It's always going to be generational. Like whenever you watch, say the NBA draft, for example. Just quick story. The NBA draft. Whenever they come into the NBA, the ESPN just ask them who's your favorite artist or whatever. Bro, listen to all of them say. 90% of them are saying Young Thug. 90% of them saying Lil Baby. We're getting point now.
Bro, what did Lonzo Ball say about Nas? No one listens to Nas no more.
He said no one listens to Nas no more. So unfortunately, Peter, with your old man's soul, you've got to now accept that the casual would rather listen to Little Baby than Jay-Z.
He's talking to you, Pete.
Yeah, but that's
He's talking to you, Pete.
He's
talking to you, Pete.
And Hov's my favorite.
He's sonning you, son.
Don't do that. And Hov's my favorite rapper ever. I'm just saying,
but
we've now got to accept the world we live in.
Bro, you're arguing. That was a beautiful soliloquy.
And that means he's the hottest.
But you're arguing something I'm not saying.
You just said to me he won't be the hottest if Jay makes 3 mixtapes on an album.
But that's got nothing to do with my personal preference. I'm just talking about popularity, bro.
Yeah.
Jay-Z can have a year where he's more popular than Little Baby or The Baby.
In a mainstream level?
Now, yes.
In a mainstream level?
100% he can.
I don't think he can. In a mainstream level.
I see what you're saying.
Then I don't know, innit? I don't know for you.
But I think he needs to make a certain type of music, though. I don't think he's making.
But we're not talking about the type of music he's making. I'm just talking about purely performance. Jay-Z right now still can have a year where he's more popular.
I think the music matters more, bro, in that respect.
No.
I think the music matters a lot more in terms of being the hottest rapper than whether you're lyrically doing amazingly. Because if you're lyrically doing amazingly, yes, then you're gonna attract a lot of attention anyway from like the real rap fans. But if you're trying to be like this hottest rapper to like even casual fans, like how many casual fans? I'm not just
talking about lyrical performance though.
I get that.
The music, the verse, we don't know what features he's doing. They may be like popular songs. They may be jingles. They may not be.
That's what it needs to be. The music plays a part.
Yeah, but I didn't specify. So that's what I'm saying. You might not arguing something I'm not saying.
I'm saying to you, even this is gonna sound so disrespectful.
But we're saying also sorry, Mo. We're giving you scenarios as to why it might not be the case because of these reasons. So you're saying that, you know, if Jay-Z was to go on the run that you've just specified, he'd be the hottest rapper alive. I think there needs to be certain things in place for that to be. Namely, the music, what he's talking about, that sort of shit. That's going to make him the hottest. I don't think casual fans, Little Baby fans are not going to listen to the What's Free verse.
Why is it wrong to say a 50-year-old man cannot be the hottest rapper amongst the world no more?
With all this talking you're doing, you're not listening to what I'm saying to you, because I never said there's anything wrong with that. What I'm trying to say to you is the fact that like popularity comes in many different forms. You man just because of the way you guys view me as far as the music that I like, you man are basically trying to make it seem like I'm talking lyrical miracle. I'm not saying that's what Jay's gonna come out and do if he's gonna be the hottest this year. All I said was that Jay can have a year where he's more popular than The Baby or Little Baby. If he done 4 features which were all enjoyable to people, and then decided, you know what, I'm going to drop an album as well, and everyone's fucking with it, and everyone's listening to it out of cars, and it's all if we go Box Park, it's playing there. Yeah, you mean to tell me that he's not more popular than Little Baby?
But you've just named conditions, like I've just done. There need to be conditions. If people are bumping it, if people are, you know, if it's a certain type of song, it needs to be. I feel like it needs to be a certain type of song, really.
I think we've passed it. Am I bug? And I love 444. I love 444.
So you think it's impossible for anybody that's not a new rapper to be the hottest?
Not a new rapper. I just think we now need to accept that we're now at the age where we're the old men we're the older guys. Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, it's a young man's sport. The kids will always dictate who is the hottest rapper. That's the hottest rapper.
Drake ain't a young boy.
That's why I don't class Drake as the hottest rapper.
But he will still be seen as the hottest, bro.
Because he makes music that appeals to that audience.
So you're both arguing. Both your points are contradicting. No, because Yemi saying that.
I'm saying I can't see Hov making that kind of music.
I'm talking about Drake now. We're off Jay-Z. I agree. I feel one way. You feel one way. That's cool. Now we're talking about Drake. Drake will still be considered the hottest by a lot of people. Yemi saying that it's because of the type of music he makes. You're saying that he's past the point that he can't be the hottest.
No, I'm saying the popularity he's got. When I look at the hottest rapper, I don't class Drake as the hottest rapper anymore. Same way I don't class Kendrick as the hottest rapper anymore. I feel like at some point you elevate past it.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I disagree.
You can't always be the. That means Drake's been the hottest rapper for 11 years.
Facts.
I know where Aubrey stand. But do you get what I mean?
It's true.
I'm playing. But do you get what I mean though? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand elevating to a point where you're in different conversations. I get that. Yeah. But if we're going down to the literal sense of what we are asking, who is the hottest rapper right now? No rapper is beyond that. I don't care how much you elevate to the GOAT conversations or the best conversations. If you are hot, you are hot. And it's that simple.
To that point, right now is hot. To that point though, Drake has been hot for 11 years, but in that run, it's been a sustained run, but other players have emerged. Migos were the hottest for a while.
Fetty
Future
Wap
was the hottest
Fetty
for
Wap
a
was the
while.
hottest for a
Fetty
while.
Wap was the hottest for a while. So there are
And
stages.
that's all okay.
Yeah, that's all okay.
That's what I'm saying.
But again,
But you can't exclude rappers just because they reach this new level.
No, I'm saying for Hove, it's done. In
But-
the nicest way possible.
No, I'd say I get it, but I still disagree because he can still be the hottest in the game.
I don't think I think it's.
he needs to make the type.
I
of music.
understand not
I
putting
think-
him in certain conversations,
Yeah.
but if we're judging a year, if we judge 2020, like whomever we want to have the conversation about, we can say whether they were the hottest or not. It doesn't matter whether they're a legend or not.
So Pete,
Yeah.
would you say?
When Black
Last
Thought
year,
did
yeah.
the Hot 97 freestyle, he was one of the hottest rappers that year.
In what terms?
That freestyle went viral.
In what terms are we talking about?
Popularity
Around just
in that
amongst
particular
casuals
year.
or rap fans?
was that a year or was that a moment?
That was
moment.
that was one of the highlights of that year.
But was he popular for the whole year?
In that moment, but that account that towards whether we're judging hotness.
No, see, now we're bugging. Are we talking about amongst casuals or rap fans?
I'm always talking rap fans. I don't care about casuals.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's
Then this is going to be a skewed
yeah,
argument.
because if we're talking about just amongst everyone, Black Thought was definitely not the
So
hottest
what?
rapper.
So when you man judge hotness, it's amongst not just rap fans, just your regular Sally who will
It's all rap
hear
fans.
a song and enjoy it,
I'm just
but
talking
isn't necessarily into hip hop.
I'm talking about amongst
Yeah.
everyone. I'm talking about just if you go.
It's a mixture.
Yeah,
it's a mixture. but
of rap fans and people that just listen to rap.
But
here
those
and there.
those casual rap fans are what make, for some nowadays anyway, are what make these rappers hot. Maybe back in the day it was a bit different because obviously you needed to have us as fans for you to be elevated to that status. Nowadays these rappers don't really need the rapidly rap fans for that because they got the casual rap fans that like shit that what Lil Baby's putting out and what Future's putting out because it's fun, it's party music and shit like that. People shit that they can just slot on and put on and just vibe. You know what I'm saying?
If that's the case, then like I said at the start of this, I'm not qualified to speak on the hottest because I'm not speaking to casual rap fans. And now, if their voices are important in determining who the hottest rappers, then I can't be in that conversation.
I think there are different
I
sides
can only
to
be
it,
in a
though.
conversation about
I
who's
I think there are
the
different
best.
sides to it though, because you can have debate. Even in the same year that Little Baby was the hottest, maybe to casual fans, Griselda were the hottest to the rap.
There you
bands.
go. That's literally what I was about to say.
So there's a lane for everybody.
I'm always talking to rap fans though.
Okay, in that case, then yes, Jay Z.
That's why I said I'm not qualified.
In that
No,
case, then
I
Jay Z
agree.
can be, but you're only talking to one audience.
But Yemi hit the nail on the head. There is two sides of it. You know who the hottest is in rap fans, and you know who the hottest is to just casuals and amongst everyone else. He hit the nail on. Do you get what I mean?
Okay, so if we're
It's
talking,
perfect.
so how do you man determine who's the best rapper alive?
Boy,
If you're a GOAT, you're excluded from me.
So if you're a GOAT, you can't be the best active rapper to you alive.
If you say to me right now who's the best rapper alive, my answer is gonna be Kendrick. But if you ask me who's my GOAT, it's gonna be Hove. Just because I don't. At some point, I'm gonna get tired of saying this guy's.
For me, Jay's not really active like that.
He's
Okay,
not.
cool.
Do you know what I mean? So I won't. If you ask me today who I think is the best rapper alive doing it today, I'm not gonna say Jay-Z's name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's also about how active they are. Now the GOAT conversation is an easier conversation because that's more about duration of their career.
Yeah.
Where we're talking the best, then that's a different conversation. But yeah, how do you measure it?
probably on how active they are and how consistent they've been over multiple projects and multiple this, that, the other sort of thing. So
is there like a time frame when you're determining the best rapper alive then?
Not necessarily, because it just depends on the quality. It depends on the quality of the music for me. So someone like Kendrick, you know, you could argue is the best rapper alive because he's been like consistent since he came out. You could argue, well, I have imagined this in my head, but probably not the case. But you know, you maybe put Freddie Gibbs in there because he's been consistent since Pinata to now, and that's what 6-7 years.
He was one of the hottest rappers to me last year.
100%.
Yeah,
but that's
sure.
the rap fans.
I'm only talking to them.
No, I'm just evidently we found that out the long way.
That's what's irritating.
But it's fine. So yeah, it very much depends on like the quality, but I don't really have a set number of projects. But if I'm going to, let's just say 5, which is what Kendrick has given me, what Gibbs has given me. You could argue Pusha T's given that to us as well, and there's probably a few others.
Right, so
as
there's a
well.
lot that goes into you judging the best rapper alive. Then
It's mainly just like how consistent you've been over
and your projects,
X amount of albums or X amount of projects. Really, that's the meat and potatoes of it.
okay, and the greatest.
Greatest, just impact on the game generally. Catalog obviously, skill set, just the general things really. I don't really have an answer for who's the best rapper alive right now. If I'm going to say anyone, I'll probably say Kendrick. And then GOAT, I mean, my GOAT's Nas. So.
Who's the hottest for you?
Hottest, yeah, Lil Baby. And then you have people like, I feel like Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow's one of the hottest out right now.
Dirk's
the Baby,
there,
obviously.
the
Dirk.
Baby's there. Roddy's there.
Roddy.
Well, Roddy's one of the hottest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Meg. Sweetie.
Then you've got people underneath it, the Polo G's of the world, the little TJs from that, and then you just go
Doja Cat.
I can't stand that.
So, yeah. But they all make a particular type of music. One's for the casual fans.
And also look at the age range. It is just a young man's, unfortunately, when we're talking about just in terms of casuals, it's a young man's game. Drake is a full-on anomaly. Drake's an alien. When we've never seen someone like Drake. Do you know what I mean? To run it for so long.
How did we used to measure the best rapper alive?
That's a good question. It was probably based on how you rated it. I think you'd look at their more recent years and how they've performed over like albums, and then that's how you might determine it. I think similarly to you, other than like when Jay proclaimed to be like the best alive, Lil Wayne was one of the earliest rappers that I heard kind of proclaiming that. Do you know what I mean? And at that particular moment, I don't know if he had a right to do that because he was mad hot, but he weren't the best to me because it still comes down to your lyrical ability for me. So for me personally, it's always been who was lyrically the best rapper, best active rapper over that time. That's never changed for me for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was maybe more the rappers that I enjoyed their music the most and the ones that I could really recite their music a lot. But I was young, so it was
popularity
different.
contest.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But as I've gotten older, it was more to do with the art. Like the best rapper represents the best skilled rapper. Do you know what I mean? And that's just what it is for me now.
Who's the wackest rapper growing up that you thought was the best rapper alive?
The wackest?
Yeah. But growing up, you thought he was the best because you used to listen to him a lot.
Yo, I loved some real whack rappers, man.
Just give me one.
Yo,
Yeah, but you too.
Man.
But growing up, you thought he was the one.
Whack.
Or not even whack, just average, but you thought he was a lot better than he
Ja
is.
Rule.
Yeah, I
love Ja Rule, man. You couldn't tell me nothing.
I convinced
about
myself
Ja
that
Rule.
Madlib was a good rapper.
Who?
Madlib.
Madlib.
Yeah, he's not a great rapper.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Well,
I was really standing then, but yeah, nah. So
Yeah.
much respect to you, but yeah, nah.
I used to think Ja was the one, bro.
I love Ja Rule,
You
man.
might see me when Ja Rule comes on.
Yeah, you could argue Ja.
I still love Ja Rule. I'm not going to lie to you, man.
I think the best rapper alive tag has taken a life of his own in the sense of these rappers say it. It's now turned into a flipping debate on a podcast and several debates on several podcasts. Maybe that wasn't the intention, but as I think we've learned, it's kind of hard to judge what exactly the best rapper alive is and what they do and how they do it. So maybe through no fault of their own, they've just, Jay and Wayne and everybody else who's claimed to be the best rapper alive have just kind of opened up this rabbit hole to where, how do you really measure it? Is it because you're the hottest?
When Jay said at that point, you couldn't really argue it.
Wayne too.
Because I feel like Jay was the best at that particular moment, man. He had dropped one of the best albums of his life. He was about to retire. He was probably saying it with the scope of, look how long I've been doing this for, and I'm still here. I'm still hot. You know what I mean? I have to be the best. The longevity comes into it. Do you know what I mean? So he had every right to feel that way. And even Lil Wayne, even though I disagreed with it, like he was scorching. Do you know what I mean? So
he was ridiculous.
yeah, Wayne was scorching.
What?
Woo.
After Carter 3, Carter 2, Carter 3. Forget about
But
it.
he was saying that he was the best from like Carter 2 though.
Yeah. From Carter 2 is when I first heard him.
Yeah,
when
Carter 2's like when I
Fireman
first heard
came
him
out,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, but there was still better rappers in there, but there was no one hotter though.
He had a nice back and forth with Jay-Z on his album.
Yeah, he never really wanted it with Jay-Z though.
Yeah, Jay-Z just styled on him quickly.
Yeah, just spanked him real quick.
Did you see Mr. Carter, innit?
Yeah. But what about the UK then?
I
We
was-
don't really seem to have that debate.
It's because we're still new.
But even like the rappers though, they don't really proclaim that so much. I don't feel like.
I think they do in their own ways, but it's not as brash. Maybe it's because everyone maybe because everyone's friends, everyone's friendly with each other, so there's not as much competition. It's a lot more camaraderie than competition. But generally, yeah, I don't know, man.
Is it because the reason why we don't have the question with hottest, best, and greatest is because it's so close together in terms of how long people have been around? Do you know what I mean? So
No,
like someone,
I think- but
so
we
someone like Dave could be the hottest and the best because he's only been around for so long. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? It's not fair. Whereas with America, you've got 10 years of Kendrick. for
It
me to
depends
say the
on
best.
on who you talk to.
But
Because I can
With the UK, it's very whoever you are. Do you think because the UK the time frame is so small that it's too quick to put people in?
it's
all
not
of those
that
boxes.
small, man. Like
How long have
you man are
what's
talking
the-
like we ain't been doing this thing for like nearly 20
That's
years.
small, G.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of it, it's not compared to America, of course. But
And I'm saying,
Really?
I mean, we've been doing this since the 80s, but I feel you.
do
there you
nah,
go.
nah.
Even with her.
I mean, I wouldn't know that he's.
Who would you say is the hottest, best, and greatest UK rappers?
I mean, greatest. I'm gonna say Rich. Can I not have an opinion?
Yeah, of course. I don't agree.
Greatest, I'll say Rich. Best. Oof. See, this is what I'm saying. When we talk about hottest and the best, it becomes tricky.
The hottest is Jay Huss for me. The
Yeah.
best and the greatest is Kano.
Yeah, because to me the best is Rich, but he's also the greatest.
So it's a lot more connected.
Yeah, because of the time. Do you know? That's why. Because of the time frame. That's the only reason why I say it. But if you, I agree with you with Huss as well. Huss is the hottest.
In fact, I may not even put Kane as the greatest actually, because we have to now think about everything else apart from your skill set.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just said that because that's my default, but I'd have to think about that one as to who is the greatest
Yeah,
from
me?
our scene.
Hottest. I'll get back to that one. Best right now, Gets for me. Greatest. I'll probably say Kano.
Can I switch it around?
Go on.
I've got greatest Rich. Best. We're just talking about everything, not just rapping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So best, I'll say Huss, and then hottest, I'll say Pass Alley. Depending on how, do you know what I mean? It's a tricky one because of the years, but
And another thing is like, people, UK artists, the music isn't the same for like each artist, so it's a little bit harder.
yeah, it's proper
And
tricky.
yeah, there's a lot more division as far as like, because obviously Slow Time, Pass Aliu, critically they're darlings. Commercially they might not be as successful as a Dave or a Stormzy, so it might not necessarily mean hottest. But I suppose for us, it might be more what the streets are saying, a lot more. And the streets are probably saying now, there's a few to be honest. Digga D, Pass Aliu, Heady One, you could say. Yeah, there's a
RV?
few. RV.
Is he up there?
Enough respect, but no.
Okay.
Hottest? No, sir. Moonwalk Slide is a great song, though. I like that.
I'm just trying to put anyone from Tottenham up there.
I like that. Back row G. You could argue.
Dachavelli was there until he got in trouble. You can edit that out.
We're editing that now. Actually, no, we don't have to edit that out. But yeah, you could say that.
Until he got in trouble. He was right there.
You could definitely say that. Millions, you could argue.
Honcho.
Honcho, sure.
I mean, I don't listen to Honcho personally.
No, I listened to one project. And, yeah. But there's a few, man. There's definitely a few.
This is the most talent we've had at one time. And I feel like I've been saying that every day for the last 3 years.
No, you have. I still remember when you said we're better than the US.
I've been saying that. I said that from the first episode we had, the test runs.
You said that from the practice runs.
Yeah, we've been making better music than America for a long time now on a mainstream basis.
For sure. Well, anyway, guys, if you want to take part in the debate and let us know who your great, best, and hottest rappers are, be sure to email us or at us on the socials, and we'll go back to you, and hopefully it'll be a great debate to have, because this is a very great debate to have. Like, there's so many different things to consider with each of them, so it'd be good to hear your thoughts. But yeah, Peter's just exposed himself as even more of an old head, but we move.
We move, man.
No, it's got nothing to do with me being an old head.
You sure?
No, not at all, man. I just feel like everyone can be in all conversations. I get, being elevated from one convo to another, but you can't ignore if someone is in that conversation. I just won't do that. That's all.
All right, guys, let's move on to the final topic, the fun one for this week. So, we are going to, basically, each of us individually, we're going to pick our favorite rappers who basically emerged from being an initial act in hip hop to evolving into a completely different character. So, for an example, we've got the man known as Zev Love X, who then became MF Doom. Rest in peace. So, we're basically going to name our favorite rappers of that ilk. Peter, would you like to start?
Yeah, man. My pick is CeeLo Green, who is of Goody Mob, and he went from cell therapy
Why are you
with Goody
laughing?
Mob because it's hilarious, man. And I don't think anybody saw it coming, but
Absolutely not.
he went from cell therapy with Goody Mob to Niles Barkley, fuck you, and crazy. And that was just a massive jump. Do you know what I mean? He went from like this, like, they weren't underground, but they're Dungeon Family, innit? And they weren't as good as Outkast, but they were still alright. You know what I mean? Like, you know, CeeLo was like, he was alright. Do you know what I mean? No one really saw him as a singer like that. And then out of nowhere, he teamed up with Danger Mouse. They became Niles Barkley, and then, you know, they going crazy. Dee 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 dee.
You're singing
Do you know what I
about
mean? And yeah, he
Sings
was
a
just
bizzle.
like, he's been everywhere. He's been on all these, like, you know, flipping America's Got Talent, and like he's been judges on different shows here and there, and he just like shot up to superstardom, innit? So it's kind of like a second act
Did you see
in
he
his
went-
career.
Did you see he went to the Met Gala in all gold?
He looked like
Yeah, he looked like a
idiot,
Muppet.
bruv.
He looked like
idiot.
he looked like C3PO, but add about 1 million more O's.
He looked like a Muppet, man. But I'm just happy to see
Just
that
slide
where
tackle
he's
him.
come from to where he's gone to, innit? So big up CeeLo Green, man.
Big up CeeLo
I could
Green.
do with another Niles Barkley album, to be honest.
Okay, so my pick.
Goody Mob, boy. They're a hard listen sometimes.
They are, bro.
You listen to Niles Barkley?
I love Niles Barkley.
Niles Barkley was sick.
Okay, guys, I'll take your word for it.
But you don't like Niles Barkley?
Have you
You
listened
ever
to
listened
Niles
to that song, Who's Gonna Save My Soul? Watch the video to that.
No, I mean I've heard
It's an
one.
amazing
I've
song,
heard
though.
Barkley?
one.
Crazy.
No, I've heard one or two songs. Just
No, that's an
naturally because of-
amazing song, bro.
because
It
of
was
the-
supposed to be a tribute to James Brown, but it's an amazing song.
I mean, I'll take your word for it, bro.
No, listen.
Are
to
you
it.
guys surprised I don't listen to Niles Barkley?
I
Honestly,
mean, you listen to fucking Blur.
I'm not surprised.
who listens to Blur?
You listen to one of them groups.
Don't do that. Wonderwall was an amazing song.
Big up Damon Albarn. He's
Yeah.
actually on this as well. I had him in mind too.
Also,
This guy went from flipping Blur to Gorillaz.
Glow Up was real.
did the Gorillaz have that fucking 3D music video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The
I interrupted you. Go
3D
on, bro.
character.
No, no, I have got. I have an obvious one. So I've got Titty Boy. Essentially, Titty Boy turned into 2 Chainz. Was in Player Circle. Reinvented himself, and he needed
Duffel
to.
bag boy.
He traded the titties for some change.
Hey man, he needed to, because whatever he needed to do to help him, and it definitely helped him, because I've never seen a complete 360 in terms of, you want to talk about he shot to superstardom, like literally was the name change, and then for a little while 2 Chainz was out of here.
Yeah, he was one of the hottest.
Like we forget, like it was just about hottest.
Yeah.
Yo, 2 Chainz when he
He
had,
was killing it.
yeah, he had a couple of songs with Drake.
Not because of his skill set though, just because of popularity.
No, obviously it was just Drake gave him the the steroids injection that he gives everyone. You know when Drake
Wait, what?
But he
What?
was hot before that.
Drake had a run where if he gives you a feature, you're gone.
But he was hot before
Yeah,
that.
that stopped with Block Boy JB.
Yeah, are we forgetting? Yo, but for a long while, would you say Pete?
He was hot before that.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, but he got that feature and then it pushed him. But he had a dumb run. He had 2 Chainz had a dumb run. He got mollywopped in the verses
By Jane.
by
Rick Ross.
He absolutely murdered him. But that's my pick.
Fair news. My pick is going to Busta Rhymes,
Mm.
who
Okay.
originally was in Leaders of the New
Yeah,
School.
yeah.
Who was originally in Leaders of the New School with Dinko D, Charlie Brown, and Cut Monitor Milo. Big up all them, man.
I say cut monitor.
Which one of these MCs stole my flow? Eeny, meeny, miny.
Yeah, I'm flag kick someone
What's wrong with this guy?
He's mocking it. Man.
Big up Busta.
Big up Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, he's mocking it.
But
Man.
yeah, he basically left the Leaders of the New School, gave us the Come In, and then gave us a lifetime of hits and singles and personality and yeah,
Salute
a
to
GOAT
the
career
legend.
basically, to say the least. And it was all triggered by him leaving Leaders of the New School. Also having done the scenario verse on Tribe Called Quest, which basically put him on the map anyway. And then he built on it after leaving Leaders of the New School, and it's the man we see today.
Salute to him forever. Pete, you have any more? You have any more?
There's a few, man. I feel like there's quite a few musicians that had like second acts where, you know, they initially came out, they were like with a group and then they left the group and shot to superstardom. Like, you know, Justin Timberlake did it with NSYNC. Do you know what I mean?
Nelly done it with St. Lunatics. What? People, what are you laughing at? He had the
Yo,
St.
don't do that,
Lunatics.
man.
They were
Nah,
local.
man, because we didn't know Nelly from being from the St.
No,
Lunatics.
but I'm saying they did in St. Louis. And then,
Mo, don't do
he
that,
saw
man.
Murphy Lee and said, I can't do this.
Nah.
And then he saw,
chat to your boy, man.
then
We're
he
not
saw
doing
a 30-year-old man wearing a mask in Murphy Lee and said, you know what, I can't do this. Then he came out
Nah.
and then he was out of here.
No, we're not doing that.
The Saint Lunatics.
Fam.
I learn something new every time.
Oh, you didn't know about the St. Lunatics?
No,
You didn't know about St. Louis?
I've never been a Nelly fan.
Oh, bro, see, you don't know about Murphy Lee.
They were in that video for if you wanna come and take a ride with me.
Okay.
Have you heard that song?
So what, a
Batter
million
Up?
other people?
Have you heard
Yeah,
Batter
true.
Up? I'm the first to swing.
Huh?
You ain't heard Batter Up, Nelly?
No.
I don't blame you, by the way. St. Lunatics are trash. But essentially, there was a group of them. He decided, I can't do this. And then he left them. And he became the Nelly that we know today.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
I can't do this.
You don't do
I'm
that to
not
him or the
doing
St.
that to
Lunatics.
You know what? I've got one. Asher D.
Mm.
Oh.
He was like so solid,
Yeah.
and then he broke out, and he's bigger than all them, man. And I love Mega Man. I mean, I love all of them. Lisa Mafia, I love you.
Do you listen to Asher D's music?
No, but he was like my first UK favorite rapper, though.
Oh, so you're just talking about like non-music?
Yeah, just generally.
Oh,
Okay.
you're talking about just in
I
general.
was gonna
Yeah,
say
now just general. Yeah.
I've never heard an Asher D song.
No, neither have
Don't
I,
do
but he was
that.
a good guy, though.
I never have.
The minute I saw him on Get Rich.
Why stating facts? Don't do that now.
Because you know we were in an era where telling the truth is disrespectful.
Pete, have you heard
True.
an Asher D song?
Yeah, of course.
But we're trying to take this to the next level.
Yeah, I've never heard an Asher D song a day in my life. He had more words
I heard
in Get
his
Rich
vo-
than I tried
his
than I've heard
verse
in
on-
music.
No, his verse on
See, you
Southside
don't
All
need to do that.
Listen, his verse on Southside All Stars in the video where he was outside Peckham Library and he was saying Peck Nam. I was like, raw. But yeah, other than that, no. But big ups to Asher D.
Beyonce went from Destiny's Child to B.
Diana Ross as well. Supremes
Oh yeah,
to
Supremes.
Diana
yeah.
Ross.
Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
Shout out her
Jackson
daughter, Tracy Ellis.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
MJ, exactly. Jackson 5.
Yeah, we could do this all day, to be fair.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? There's quite a few
Jermaine to the
where,
D,
you
man.
know, when they enter that second act, yeah, they shot up to superstardom, man.
Trying to think, who else is there?
I'll do a very obscure one. Cool Keith, when he became Dr. Octagon.
Oh shit! What was the one
he
that
was like? He was like a pioneering MC with the ultramagnetic MCs, and then he turned into Dr. Octagon, which is essentially like a kind of Doom-esque type of transformation, where he's kind of rapping in different ways and different concepts as well. So nice bit of education for you.
Anyone else? Are we?
No.
We're not going to salute Pill.
Did he ever? Did he have a first act?
Guy had no act.
I'm saying, bro.
Salute him though.
Pill don't take
Why's
pills.
Pill getting strays?
Listen,
I feel like he got strays in the last
He
episode as well.
he did.
Leave Pill alone.
I think we got
man.
one Pill reference every episode. We got one Pill, we got one Drake, probably one Jay as well. We haven't
Speaking
heard
of
Wretched in a while.
pills, have you guys seen
What?
The Matrix?
Not in a while.
I've never seen The Matrix, you know.
What?
I've never seen it.
Say wallahi.
Wallahi.
You've never watched The Matrix
I've
a
never
day?
watched it.
Say Wallah.
Have you never watched The Matrix a day in your life?
I've watched it.
All of them.
Not all of them.
I'm gonna watch
just the
it.
first one.
Yo, bugging.
I know.
So you don't know about the red or the
No, I know the references, but because you said Pill, I know Red. That's why I thought Red.
P, you need to
yeah.
watch it ASAP.
I'm gonna watch
I'm not even
it.
trying to gas
Yeah.
it, bro. You need to watch it ASAP.
All right, guys, that's it for another episode of Rhymes Like Dimes. As usual, if you want to show support for what we're doing, follow us on the socials, leave a review wherever you can on wherever you get your podcast, and also just share. Please share, spread the word, and yeah, you'll be doing us the world of good. So yeah, boys, thank you so much for your time again.
Can I do my shout outs?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So my shout out for this week, I just want to say salute to Liverpool, salute to Klopp, salute to the owners, salute to Steven
Don't
Gerrard,
salute the owners.
Javier Mascherano,
Don't
Fabio Aurelio.
Shout out Fab.
That's all I can think of right now. So salute to Liverpool.
Don't shout out the owners.
Get me? This is how you defend a title when you ain't won it for 30 years. Good night. God bless.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll see you in two.
No, I haven't done my shout out.
Oh, you want to do a shout out too?
Yeah,
All right,
of
cool.
course.
Go ahead.
Big up Cleo Soul.
Again?
Big up Diaspora Darlings.
Okay.
Okay.
Gang. That's gang right there. Shout out, baby.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Happy Valentine's Day to all the couples, and happy Valentine's Day to all the scrub singles. And until then,
You need to bring that back, you know.
what?
Like you're right. You just have these little soliloquies. that you
Yeah.
you sign
Me
off
and
them
we
in
got
a
the
minute.
shout outs. Now you need to.
Okay,
end
okay,
it.
okay. So let me. Let me. I fell off.
Yeah,
Feel you.
bro, you're slipping. You're falling. You can't get up.
All right then. In that case, then, let me leave you a little something. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight. And on that note,
Oh, that's gonna hit you as well.
peace. You burnt, yeah?